Beep, beep. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this thing that we like to call Northern News Now Plus on the Northern News Now Plus app. I'll be your host for the duration of the stream here, Matt Rasmussen, a.k.a. the King of Halloween, a.k.a. host of Movie Mondays with Matt. Today is going to be a little bit of a different show. It's not a Movie Mondays show. It is indeed a Halloween special because there are so many different special Halloween events to talk about. I'll get back to the box office numbers next week. This week it was a little hectic. There was a lot going on, so we couldn't do both Movie Mondays and the Halloween special, I guess, due to timing. So the Halloween special is what took precedence because there's so many local things to talk about, and I've been doing it since 2017, so we don't want to skip out on that opportunity. I like to bring the best in the area to you folks so you can decide what Halloween things you want to do. And luckily there's 2 weekends left to do some spooky things. So that is what we will be talking about here today. And I'll just kind of recap some of the stuff that I talked about on the morning show here. So, starting in order of which they'll be happening this week, and they're all happening this weekend, but we'll take a look. Number one is the Haunted Ship. Everyone knows the Haunted Ship. Everyone loves the Haunted Ship, the William A. Irvin. It's been out there forever, except those couple of years they took it away from us. That was unfortunate. But hey, it's back. It's my favorite haunt in the area. I think it is the spookiest thing to do. It is legit haunted. The Haunted Ship is actually haunted with real, actual ghosts that actually haunt the ship. I've been called out on a few different paranormal investigations onto the ship, and we've seen some spooky things throughout the years. Many different times I've been called out there. In fact, this year, I didn't go out this year for an investigation, but I know they did have a big one on the ship this year to kind of open up spooky season beforehand. And then every year, as the Ghostbusters were brought out there to open up the opening weekend as well. It's usually a Thursday or a Friday or something that we're out there, and our shtick is that we bring extra ghosts to the Haunted Ship to make sure that it's extra spooky for opening weekend. So, Haunted Ship, absolutely love that one. Also, it is their 30th year. That's the big thing. It's their 30th year, and since we were able to go through this year, it was amazing again, as always. I'd say it's one of the best years they've done it. They always seem to outdo themselves somehow. And this year, since it's their anniversary, after we were done, we went through, they had a lot of amazing retro merch in the gift shop. That was the thing. They had a really cool t-shirt that had a bunch of retro posters and like the different names it went by throughout the year. I think originally it was like the Haunt at the Irvin, and when I heard of it back in the 90s, it was called the Ship of Ghouls, and I love to call it the Ship of Ghouls. That's what my little nostalgia brain wants to call it. And they had an original, well, it was a reprint, but it was a reprint of the original poster that they had put out 30 years ago that was calling it the Haunt at the Irvin, and that was really cool to see some of that stuff. So I actually bought one of those retro posters and took it home because, wow, nostalgia, the feels. Haunted Ship, that is number one on my list. Up next, and this is a key one for this weekend, because this coming weekend, this haunt ends. So this is the one you want to kind of focus on a little bit. This is the Haunted Shack. And the Haunted Shack has actually been around a lot longer than the Haunted Ship, by just a few years. And the story with the Haunted Shack, if you remember, the amazing folks that started that one, started out just out of their garage. And it kind of grew throughout the years, and it moved around, and it just got bigger and bigger and became a gigantic event. And that's another one that everyone knows, and it's huge, and it's been around for a while. And one of my buddies actually helps to organize it and run it every year, so that's kind of cool. And it's been voted one of the scariest haunts in the country, as a matter of fact. So that's a good one, and if you ever were curious about the Haunted Shack, go on out there and take a look at it. it's good. It is worth your time. So there's that one. Then also the Haunted Forest. A lot of these have haunted in the title. That's another shtick here. The Haunted Forest, that is out in Saginaw. That's another good one. You get on a trailer. There's a little bit of a hayride event with that. And I'd say that's another one of the big haunts in the area here. And they've been around for a while. I think this is their 12th year, if I'm correct. And, you know, they always do a good job, and they're very friendly, and they give you candy at the end of it. So that is a fun one. I always try to find a night that works to do the Haunted Forest and the Hellweg Hollow, because they're just, I don't know, they're far enough apart that you could hit them both in the same night and it would be totally cool. And that's what I always do, and I recommend that. Which does bring me to Hellweg Hollow, which is another one. That is, I think, the newest big one. This is, I believe, their 6th year doing the Hellweg Hollow. And if you drive up and down 169, 53 ever, and you glance off and you see a hearse, and you see a church, and you see a sign that says Hellweg Hollow, it's up all year round. That is where that is, and that's out in Canyon. Amazing. Another fun time. That one is unique as well. It has its own flavor, its own thing going on. And this year when we went through, they changed the format up a little bit. So it was kind of similar for a few years there. But this time, it's like everything was different, and that was great. It was like a totally different experience this year. So that one is fun. All you do to get there is you pull off to the doghouse. That's the bar. If you're like going up 53 North, the doghouse will be off on your left. You pull in and park there. You'll see the shuttle. You get on. Free shuttle, of course, and they give you candy on the shuttle. The bus driver's awesome. It's decked out in Halloween decorations, and he takes you directly to Hellweg Hollow. And if I'm correct, I think you can actually drive there as well. But like the thing to do is, Ty is bugging me here. So you get reverse, inverse operations. There we go. All right. I lost my train of thought. My tie threw me all off here. Hellweg Hollow rules. Please go out and check that one out if you get the chance. Lastly on my list here, Haunted Hawthorne I have listed. I think this is their 11th year, if I'm correct. They're out in Cloquet, and that is run by a really sweet and amazing family. And every year when we go out there, we visit with them, and they're really fun, and you can tell that they love Halloween, and they love to, and they run it out of their house is the thing. It's just like their garage, and it curves around, and it's in their yard, and it's kind of like how the Haunted Shack started off, and they do it for the love of Halloween. And it's so sweet and so wholesome, and they're a great family, and please check them out if you're out in Cloquet. There's a select few nights that they do it, including this weekend. And that is worth your time as well. And I'd like to give an honorable shout out to the Massacre on Hammond, which is of course out there on Hammond, and that is in Superior. And I'll get a little bit more into Hammond in just a second, because there's another event coming up that can be touched upon. So those were my top spook houses and haunted houses in the area to talk about. Now let's talk about the events that are a little bit more family friendly. Not all of these are, but most of them are. And this first one, you could take your family on if your kids can handle a little bit of spooky stuff. I want to shout out to the Duluth Ghost Tours. Amazing. It is the best walking ghost tour in the area. It's run by my friend Kim, who is not only knowledgeable about ghosts in the area, she's a local, she's a historian, she deals with history. It's her whole background, so she knows more about the area. She's done more research on the ghosts and the lore in this area than probably anybody in this whole region. So she knows all of the ins and the outs, and it seems like every time I go on the tour, she's acquired new knowledge, because more people like to come forward and tell their scary stories to her with what they've experienced throughout the years. So she is amazing. The tour is amazing. And if you want, at the end of the tour, you can go on a little bit of a ghost hunt with Kim as well. And that is huge. If you've ever been curious, but you just don't want to take the time to like go out and buy the expensive equipment and do this and that, you can do that here. And it's amazing. It's a fun event. And just, I highly recommend it. So, Duluth Ghost Tours is amazing. Check them out. They're booking up fast, though, for the end of the year. So, might want to check in soon with them. Next on my list, the Cinema Horror Series. And so, that brings me to this little outfit here. You might have noticed, the lab coat and the tie, what's going on with this version of the King of Halloween. I'm kind of dressed like Reanimator. I didn't want to bring a syringe in. I don't think that's work appropriate. But I'll have one when I do host Reanimator. And that's part of this whole thing here. Cinema Horror Film Series. There's a bunch of retro titles that are coming out. And I'll be hosting a few of those. I hosted Carrie. I actually helped to host as well. There was a screening of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And then I will be hosting Reanimator. That is very not safe for work. Stuart Gordon classic starring Jeffrey Combs. Love that one. And then lastly, I'll be hosting Hocus Pocus as well. And admission is cheap for those. If you come out, you get to hang out with me for a little bit. I have trivia questions for you. And if you answer my trivia questions correctly, you get some free passes and or some free popcorn to an upcoming show. How cool is that? So, this is another tradition that the Cinema does every year, and I will never miss these things. I haven't missed a single one yet this year, except Corpse Bride was earlier. That was on a weekend that was just way too stacked. I wasn't able to get out there. But always check them out. And then just go to the Cinema in general. Just the staff is amazing there, and that's where I held my movie screening last week. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. And Wednesdays, I believe it's $5 admission for everything. And they get some of the amazing classics that you get to see before the big theaters scoop them up and decide to do a big release with them. So check them out as well. Next on my list, the Fairlawn Mansion Flashlight Tours. Just a second here. There we go. All right, so that's always a fun time as well. Fairlawn really goes all out for spooky season every year, and they do not shy away from the fact that they are haunted and there are ghosts, and a lot of spooky, silly crime things happen there. And they will take you on a tour and tell you all about it. And the flashlight tour is like the best thing to do. It's so historic. The tour guides know exactly what they're talking about. And it just enhances the effect when you're walking around in a spooky old haunted mansion with your own flashlight. That's the thing to do. And the year I went, they actually had recreation actors there and stuff too, and that was really cool. So that's fun. And then they have other events going on like the rest of spooky season. They have a spooktacular happening this weekend. There was some other spooky thing that was happening there as well. So check them out if you want specific dates and times and details on those things. Fairlawn, they know what's up. Shout out to Glenn Sheen as well. They also love to do spooky stuff, but they shy away from the ghosts and that stuff a bit, and they like to just do cutesy things. They like to have jack-o'-lanterns and stuff, and that's always fun too. But you know me, I'm into the ghosts and stuff, and that's what I want to see. So Fairlawn is my top pick. Next, Eek the Depot. Not Eek at the Depot, just Eek the Depot. That is coming up soon. This weekend they will have, it's a family-friendly like carnival type event that they have going on. And they also like to have a lot of vendors and things come out, like local vendors and local arts and craft shows that have a spooky theme at the depot as well. They also have, what else? They have a local author talk with local author Kelly Florence, who wrote a whole bunch of spooky books. So check her out. That's huge as well. And then the pumpkin train. Ah, the pumpkin train is so fun. They also do a pizza train like the rest of the year, but the pumpkin train is where it's at. You get on with your family. They take you to a pumpkin patch. You get off. You get to pick your own pumpkin, and then they bring you back, and then there's your pumpkin. You get to go home and carve your pumpkin. That's fun. So check them out. There's a lot happening at the depot itself apart from these things. So that's a huge one. And then lastly, I got to give a huge shout out to the Superior Spooktacular Parade. That is my favorite haunt. Favorite spooky Halloween anything in the area is that. The parade just brings out so much Halloween spirit, and they really know what they're doing out there, the organizers. Like, it's the only Halloween parade that I know of in the area. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, it rivals the Anoka Halloween parade. And Anoka, you know, if you've heard of them, they claim to be the Halloween capital of the world. And I think Superior gives them a bit of a run for their money as far as the events that they have and that parade and just everything that they set up, especially for Hammond. So on Saturday they have not just the Spooktacular Parade, but it goes all the way down and it ends at Hammond Park. And they did a little bit last year where they had a bit of a festival. This year it's going to be a much bigger event that goes all day, big family-friendly festival, and you know, food trucks and all kinds of fun stuff and just non-stop fun stuff to do with the family. And word on the street, the Ghostbusters will be there as well because the Twin Ports Ghostbusters always come through in the parade. Then we stop and we just kind of hang out a little bit with people. So that'll be a fun little perk to go as well. And then Hammond, they have like all these different trick-or-treating stations specifically set up, and they tell you the maps of the people who have decorated their house, the Haunt Your House in Hammond, and just it's just a great spooky fun vibe all around. So love that Hammond Park, love the just the parade and the spookiness in general. So there's that. Couple honorable mentions here as well. There are a bunch of trunk or treats out there, so please go to those or help to participate with those if you get the chance. That's always a fun thing. You know, some kids can't go out on Halloween night, and this is all they have. So please help and support that because you don't want anyone to miss out on Halloween. That's a crime in my book. And Scary 'em at the Aquarium is also fun. There's you know, you get to trick or treat there. Similar thing, but it's at the aquarium and it's all dressed up and spooky and awesome. And then, if you happen to be in the right neck of the woods, Halloween day, the Ghostbusters are always on the case. We take our Ecto-1 out and we just hand out candy to anyone that we see walking around. We just drive around randomly. Well, we kind of hit the Lincoln Park area a bit, and then we just go around wherever. Just wherever people need candy, we'll show up. So we do that for a few hours, and that's always a fun time as well. So trick-or-treating with the Ghostbusters is huge, and I think I covered all of those. Wow, I went long on time here. This is a very long one. I probably should have thrown to break a while ago, but that's okay. I'll throw to break now, and when we come back, I'll talk a little bit more about my movie that just came out and my weekend recap and a little bit of coverage that went into that. And maybe I'll talk a little bit more about spooky movies and tease ahead to next week. All kinds of fun stuff still to come. So let's take a quick little break and we will be back in just a minute, my friends.